I'm Brent Johnson.
I'm Andrew Schaeffer.
Welcome back to Milwaukee, Wisconsin. We are downtown at the Cathedral of St. John the Evangelist. This is one of the stops on the Oregon Historical Society's 2025 convention coming up this summer. And tell us about the organs here at the cathedral that they're going to see.
How much time do you have?
Well, until we run out of memory cards.
Well, the cathedral was built in 1847, one of the first churches here in the state of Wisconsin. It's been rebuilt several times after fires and all sorts of other things, Vatican II, things like that. So it had a pipe organ very early on in the life of this building by Matthias Schwab. Okay. And then that organ was subsequently replaced by an organ by Wanger and Weikert, local builders, a large instrument with string division and everything like that. And then in the 1940s, right before the war, they added a two-manual pedal organ up front. And so it was one big Wanger. And then, of course, the organ form movement, the bug bit them here, and they made an unusual decision to go with an organ by Robert Noehren. And he installed this organ, this large form manual organ, in 1966. A few additions over the years, and then in 2005, I believe, Nichols and Simpson came, and this was after a renovation of this and restoration of this space. They installed a fairly sizable two-manual pedal organ up front and built one massive, and I mean massive, four-manual console to control both instruments. So maybe we'll show you a picture of that downstairs. But Nichols and Simpson is a fabulous organ, and it plays well with this. We thought we would focus just on the Noehren itself and came up here to set at the console. You can play both organs through blind pistons up here, but that's above my pay grade for this video. So we're just going to focus on the Noehren.
Stick with what we have.
Robert Noehren taught at the University of Michigan, and he was at the forefront of the organ form movement in the United States. He was really responsible for several von Beckerath installations before going off and starting his own organ building company. He was really a Renaissance man, excellent performer. There's recordings of him. If you can listen to a recording, they're really rock solid, but he has this innate musicality to himself. He was a scholar. He wrote a lot of articles on organ building, and he had a lot of interesting ideas about organ building that we'll explore in this particular organ.
All right. Well, we have four manuals and more divisions than that.
Right, so we have a pedal, swell, great, choir, positive, and bombard.
Okay.
So one more manual division than we actually have. The positive and the choir both live on the bottom manual.
Okay.
So we're going to start with the positive division. We are recording this in October, and we all know what that means.
Yeah, it's gotten a little cooler recently.
Fall tuning. It was 30 degrees last night, first freeze. So forgive the organ for being a little unhappy with the weather. So the positive, I'll play it by itself. Let's start with an 8-foot gedect. I could play that stop all day. Practice on it. Just beautiful.
It's more full and round in the bass than you would expect at home. Positive.
Right.
Gedect there.
And it's hard. We can't really quite hear what it's doing because there are no slats to let us know. But here's the 4-foot principle. A little stringier. Here's with the gedect. Almost sounds like it's overblowing a little bit.
Yeah.
Maybe it is. Here's the 4-foot roar flute. With the gedect. and then a 2-foot octave. Is that fall tuning? And then we have a Schaeffer, which I must apologize is very out of tune today, but it's pretty shimmery.
6-ring Schaeffer there. Adds a lot of brightness.
David Beyer, a longtime Milwaukee technician, takes care of this organ. He takes care of the organ at my church, and I pity you, David, for tuning that Schaeffer. That's got to be a tough one, hanging over the balcony rail.
Yeah.
So anyway, and then a Sesquialtera 2, the 8 and 4. And 2. Finally, Noehren. So really lovely stop there in the Noehren. Actually, much more full-bodied than some of the other reeds we'll discover in this organ.
It feels more clarinet-like than
it does.
it deserves to be.
So we'll go now to the choir division,
Okay.
starting with the 16-foot Borden. Which is also extended to 8-foot pitch. Another thing about Noehren that I should say right off the bat is that he believed in unification and borrowing things from keyboard to keyboard. This whole organ is on direct electric wind chests, I believe. So he was experimenting with scaling and trying to get, the most out of each stop. Of course, this is not a new idea. Wicks and other builders, Moeller, have been doing that in their unit organs for a long, long time. But so we have to be on the lookout because we're going to be finding a lot of things that we think are independent, but are really just extensions. So that Borden plays at 16 and 8. Then we have a Gemshorn. With a corresponding Unda Maris, and this is actually a really nice sound.
Nice. Yeah.
Flute harmonique. So Noehren was really interested in this synthesis of fusing neo-Baroque sounds with French voicing. More emphasis on the neo-Baroque than the French, but you will see harmonic flutes all over the place. And it's kind of interesting. He was trying to do this a few years, decades before companies like Fisk really tried to synthesize different sounds
idea.
into an eclectic organ. So this is a flute harmonique in the choir. It's more of a chorus flute harmonique.
Yeah.
Let's listen to it ascend.
It doesn't have a lot of those solo qualities you get
So
out of.
it sounds really beautiful, especially as you get up the compass here, but it's not, it's meant to be a chorus flute.
Okay.
Flute conique. With the Borden. With the flute harmonique instead of the Borden.
Nice.
So that works.
Yeah.
Nazard, which we'll put with the Borden and the flute conique. And I wonder if the Nazard comes from something, if he's hiding something.
No, maybe.
No, it's its own sound, but it does not go down to bottom C.
Oh, interesting.
So he was saving some pipes.
All right.
Piccolo. It might come from the piccolo. Nope. Okay. I'll stop trying to figure out Mr. Noehren
real
here.
Nazard.
All right. It's a real Nazard. Good for it. And then here's the piccolo and the tierce. The one interesting, I'll go out on a limb and say very frustrating thing about this organ is that the choir and the swell are enclosed together.
Oh, are they?
Yeah, in two.
The box, it's right in the front, so that's
Right.
part of the case there.
So
Okay.
take that as you will. A little larigo. No organ's complete without a larigo. Flageolet what? Bill Klimas says that's a Christmas carol
Yes.
waiting to happen. All right, so that's the choir division. We'll just keep going. There's a bombard division. And bombard division, you would think big, right?
Loud, big reeds.
Not really.
Okay.
Here is an 8-foot board in the bombard.
Oh. It's a very gentle Borden sound there.
Compared to the choir boardin. Sure,
The
which
choir's a little closer to us, but I can't imagine that the
no,
bombard is that much bigger.
not sure what you do with that. And then there's a flute harmonique,
Okay.
8. Compared to the choir.
The bombard, there's a little more of a solo quality. It's got a lot more color, but it's not, again, a big, loud,
No.
projecting sort of stop.
Principal 4. Not big at all
Okay,
either.
No, it's not.
And then you have a plongeur, 6 rank. We'll put them all together. So it's just a secondary chorus, as if the positive was not enough.
I guess if you just want to add that much more to the grapes,
Right.
maybe. I don't know.
Yeah,
It's-
yep.
all right.
As if there weren't enough mixtures on the grate to do that. And then there's a trumpet 8, and a clarion. Again,
Bombard unit.
borrowed there.
I wonder if, is it just where we are that they're not that much louder, but I can't.
Don't think they actually are that loud.
Yeah, huh, okay, that's just surprising.
It is. And then there's the party horn.
Oh, yes, the big.
You ready? Plug your ears.
We're about 6 feet from that horn above our head here, and it's maybe 10. I don't know. It's
Present. It's present.
I'm wondering if OSHA knows about this installation and if the organist should be wearing earplugs when it's playing.
Yeah, it's pretty lethal. A nice read.
Yeah.
That was not Noehren. That was added, I believe, by Nicholas Simpson.
Okay.
So we'll move to the great. It has a full chorus, 16 through 8. I'll just play a chord.
Nice bright chorus.
Very bright. Here's the
What would I
16-foot principal. Here's the 8-foot principal. Luxurious, he did provide a
Borrow that
separate
one,
one.
but yeah, they're getting a little thinner as you go up.
Yes,
As you'd expect.
4-foot octave. See? No, they're different. I love this principle though. It's very gentle. 2-foot octave. Ah, we caught one there. Okay.
All right.
So, mixture and then a Schaeffer. You've already heard both of those. I'll save your eardrums. We have a cornet 4. You have to add the 8-foot to it.
down to middle C.
I think so. Interested to see if that's mounted. Quintadina 16. I knew you were expecting one in this organ, so here it is. Don't diss it. Don't diss it.
What color?
Spitzflute 4. Two-foot valve flute. Caught him.
There he is.
Yeah, okay. I'll add that there is a Rohr Flute 8, and unfortunately it is just not wanting to play.
Switch isn't playing today. Okay.
Then there's an 8-foot trumpet, which is extended to 4 together.
A lot of brightness, not a lot of power.
But there is an independent bombard. Here they are together. Let's get the whole grate cooking and see what it does. There you go.
Yeah, right?
Borden in the swell, which is extended to 8. And it's a nice Borden. It's
Oh no. He's done it again. He tricked you.
He tricked me. All right. So
Well,
yeah.
That explains now maybe why the choir and the swell are in the same boxes. He felt comfortable
Yeah, there we go.
borrowing some stops back and forth.
Yeah, I mean, and that was the kind of stuff he was doing, and I can't blame him for trying. I mean, you could think that you could get away with it. It does. And I played one other Noehren in my life, and it was in Chicago at an Episcopal church. It's since been moved by Buzard to another location and gone over quite a bit and filled out some of this stuff. But he did the same thing where it was he would borrow a few notes from here to complete that rank and things like that. And I'm sure whoever wired that organ just... I pity the fool who has to, I should say, solid state these organs, because trying to keep track of all of this stuff is insane.
It might be easier just to put the real pipes back in.
So,
All right.
we have the Borden.
It's the choir board is in the swell.
Correct.
16 and 8. Only 8 in the choir, though. Correct? Or is
No,
it
16 in the
16
choir.
16 and 8 in the choir,
Yeah.
and 16 and 8. So, yeah, why not?
And then, actually, a very, very lovely set of strings.
Dark and warm. Very nice.
Harmonic flute 4, a flute octavant.
It shows up again. Look at that.
And it shows up again at 2.
He gave it a different name this time.
Yes,
right?
yeah, the 2-foot octavant. There we go. So we have 8, 4, 2 harmonic flutes. Let's live it up here. So I don't know actually if the swell. Put the flageolet in there. And let's see. Okay, he took it from the piccolo.
Okay. All right.
All right, we're on to you, Mr. Noehren. Let's put the plongeur in the swell. It's an unusual mixture. Let's listen for the breaks. Just keep going up.
Yeah.
All right, and then the vox humana. Put it with the trim. Or not. Okay.
Trim today. Okay.
So, actually, then a 16-foot fugato. So he put it at low C, missing the bottom octave.
Let's see.
That's okay, because it's the 8-foot oboe. Then,
Give us a bottom octave, though.
yeah, well, you got that board.
That's from the choir, yeah.
And then you got the 8-foot trumpet. Let's compare it to the great. And the bombard. A lot of variety in your 8-foot
Yeah.
thin trumpet tone. Of course, the clarion comes off of the trumpet.
Okay.
All right, so moving on to the pedal, we have a rather nifty 16-foot principal in the facade, copper. Which is extended to 8. The 4-foot octave is independent. But the 2-foot comes off of the 4.
I see. Okay.
We have a decked bass, which comes off of the sub bass, and then a mixture. All right, and that is independent.
It's coming from that side of the organ.
And then I love when organ builders do this: harmonics. I actually love that effect.
Yeah.
So let's put the whole pedal together, and then we'll see how the harmonics fit in. Nice rumble.
Very effective at creating the effect of a 32.
Although we do have a real 32.
Sad that I think the harmonics sound better.
No.
Because, I mean, it goes to half length, obviously.
So let's see. I think this might be one giant trumpet ring. Let's find out. So the bombard and the pose down are one,
Okay.
and then the trumpet and the 4-foot are another. But let's see. You got another 8-foot trumpet.
All
Wait.
right.
Oh, I caught it. Yeah, there we go. So the trumpet, we're having too much fun.
It had to be a trick.
I feel like Sherlock Holmes and Watson here, you know, coming up with all the mysteries of this organ. So there we go. So he borrows it from the bombard in there.
Okay.
So it's a smaller organ than you think it is, although, you know, hindsight is always 20/20. This is a fun organ, and we're not in the best seat for it right now. When you're downstairs, this generous acoustic, you know, and it's not going to, you know, I'll leave my Rager at home when playing this organ, but the Nichols and Simpson up front can tie it together, and it really just adds a bunch of weight to this organ.
Well, I'm going to go crawl around and see how he's laid all this out and figured it out. In the meantime, I want to hear some appropriate music for
play
this
some
kind of
appropriate
organ.
music. Yeah, thanks.
So behind the console, we find a closet door, and then another doorway, and there's a ladder that takes us up to the organ chamber. And from here, we get an amazing view of the cathedral nave. But the case is right here, and there's a door. We simply open, and we're inside the pedal tower. This is where all of the cabling comes to, and the winding and chests for the pedal towers are underneath the grate here, but we're going to walk on through this door. And this takes us to the center of the organ. We are underneath the swell. There's a ladder that goes up to the pipes. And we can see the swell shades come all the way down, even though there's no pipes in here. But if we go up the ladder, we're at the level of the swell chest, swell end choir here. It's all very nice and compact. You can see the lower shades do come up to the level of the pipes. There's 16-foot reeds against the back. And the surprise was that there are some Walker speakers in here, so some of the stops we heard were digital, although I don't know exactly which ones. So going back down, we're underneath the swell again. We'll look out through where the enchimade is. You can tune it from here, I think. And there's yet another door we're going to go through, and now we are in the other pedal tower, and this is where most of the pedal pipework is. See some of the 16-foot principles here, and the big reed in front of us. Now, there is a chest above our heads that has some of the treble end of the pedal work, and there's a ladder behind me that goes up there, but we didn't go up there. So now we're going back through, back underneath the grate in the other pedal tower, and here's the ladder that takes us up there. And here is our great pipework. With some interesting cone tuning there on the reeds, adjusting the voicing. It's a combination of cone tuning and scrolls. And interestingly enough, we have the Spitz flute, and then the trebles of the Spitz flute are actually up the end of the mixture. Some of the things you can do with electric action, but it's got to make tuning a tricky challenge in there. Fortunately, the cone tuning maybe means you don't have to touch it very often. We have our principal there, 4 foot. I believe that's part of the 16-foot flute, and the top of the 16-foot principals along the back wall. And then we have our reeds and trumpets over here, which are flamed copper, which one of the things we learned about this organ was it was not originally intended for this church. I think that's our roar flute that we didn't get to hear. But this was actually designed for a church in California that it didn't go to, and I'm wondering if the facade was different. There's our cornet back here. It is separate, short compass, not mounted very prominently, but all on one chest. And yet a few more surprise speakers in here. And then where you can tune the facade here from this level. And on the way out, I can't help but notice some of the remnants of having to work on an electric action organ, some expired units here and other little tools for repairing and maintaining them. And then back out behind the console, we can open the positive case, and we can get a look inside and reach all of those pipes.
Andrew, once again, thank you for showing it, bringing me here to this Noehren organ. I had heard about it, but I've never seen it. This is actually only the second Noehren organ I've ever sat in front of, and first one I've been able to climb around in, so thank you for that.
Right.
Again, this will be on the OHS convention coming up next summer in 2025. Go look down in the description. There's a link to their website. I don't know if by the time you're watching this you can register or not, but you can very soon if it's not open already. And come to Milwaukee and hear all these great instruments. and they'll all have been tuned before they get played. So all those mixtures are going to be rock solid.
We got a whole army tuners ready to go.
Thanks for watching. Remember, you can always find streaming classical organ music on our 3 stations, OrganLive.com, Positively Baroque, and the Organ Experience. But come back here because we're going to have more organs coming from the Milwaukee area very soon. So stay tuned, subscribe to our channel. And until then, I'm Brent Johnson.
I'm Andrew Schaeffer.
Thanks for watching.